and I'm so happy to be able to talk to myself. As a writer, I think that's what you do a lot of the time. You are lonely, and nobody understands you sometimes. Before I do that, though, I just want to say also, welcome girls, welcome boys, welcome moms, welcome dads, welcome friends, welcome relatives, welcome nanas, and tatas, and grandmas, and granddads, and educators, and organizers, and dogs, and cats, and Didn't anybody bring their dog? I brought my dog. You know where he is?
Where?
I'm a writer, and so I think about my dog. And because I think about him, I get to bring him with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. But he doesn't like everywhere I go. So sometimes he starts barking. And it gets loud in there. But then I just think, and then the dog fell asleep. Everything's okay. Everything's very powerful. Thinking is very powerful. You all know who Harry Potter is? Yeah. You know what Harry Potter has that I wish I had? And I kind of do. But you know his magic wand? Wouldn't you like to have one of those?
Yeah.
Well, you do. You know what a writer's magic wand is? A pencil. And you know what's really great about Harry Potter's magic wand? A writer wrote Harry Potter. So it's a writer's magic wand that's responsible for Harry Potter's magic wand. This is your magic. This is your magic. And you know, if you're working with a pencil, Harry Potter, he worked with spells and all sorts of stuff like that to create magic. Well, so do you. Only for you it's called spelling. But you know, it's the same thing. You're putting letters together to create something that people respond to. Something happens when you write. And if you write something great happens. That's pretty powerful. What that means is, and I'm going to say this to you several times today, don't forget how powerful you are. It doesn't matter how old you are, or how big you are, or what color you are, or what planet you come from. It's all right here. Every pencil is filled with a book. Every pencil is filled with a book. Well, when I write, I like to say that, and it's really good to do magical things and write whatever we want to write about. But what do we write about? Well, when I was talking about spelling, you use letters, don't you? You use letters, you put letters together to create words. Words create sentences. Sentences create paragraphs, and pretty soon, before you know it, you have a story. Or you have a poem, or a play, or a song. And sometimes, you start drawing something and it turns into a picture. It doesn't want to behave and just stay a letter. We forget that that's where our magic came from. It came from the world. All those little letters, they're not little. They're not little. The letter A, the alphabet that we use today, it's 4,000 years old, exactly. Oh, don't believe everything I say. But it sort of is. And the letter A, when it was first written, and it was the first letter of the alphabet, you know why A is the first letter of the alphabet? And why it's the first letter of most alphabets in use around the world today? Think about what the first letter would be about. What would you want to tell somebody about if there were no other letters yet to write about? What's over there? What's the first thing you have to do to live as a human being? You have to eat. And the letter A, the first letter A, means alpha. And then before that, it was called Aleph. And before that, it meant ox. But not ox like we see today. What it meant was food. That animal that's out there. It was like the first McDonald's. And what's so wonderful about that is there were 3 cultures that added food to the alphabet that you use because they wanted to speak to each other. And they're cultures that are fighting with each other now. They just forgot what the alphabet means. Because the first letter A came from the Semites, who were Hebrews. And the letter G, let me jump ahead, comes from the Arabs, who were North African. And the letter G comes from North Africa. The Hebrews in the north, around the Mediterranean, they saw ox animals in their landscape. But what do you think in North Africa? What did they see? What is the letter G? It's the same as the letter A, yes? Maybe a giraffe? You're very close. What's in the desert? Who said it? Who said it? A camel. A camel. It's the same as an ox. It's just for the Arabs. That was their food at the time, 4,000 years ago. And then the third culture were the people who were driving around on the Mediterranean Sea in their boats. And they added the letters M and N. Did you ever wonder why N looks so much like M? There's a good reason. M was a picture written by the Phoenicians. We're Phoenicians, aren't we? Only it's ironic that we live in the desert and they lived on the Mediterranean Sea. That's kind of odd. So instead of them drawing the desert, they tried to tell us what their landscape looked like. And so they showed us the letter M. You ever seen a really little kid write the letter M? How many humps does it have? Well, there's no M. You know what that's a drawing of? Waves. It means water. And you know what the letter N is? You know why it looks like M? N comes from M. And it's what the Phoenicians ate. It was their food. What's the food of the sea? Fish. Fish. So we have 3 cultures coming together at the kitchen table, right where you eat breakfast. And they're trying to talk to each other. And we use that magic. That's what we're trying to do when we write. We're trying to talk to other people. We're not writing for ourselves. We don't write something for ourselves and then never show it to anybody and it just disappears. We, throw it away. We're writing because we want somebody to hear us. Only they're going to hear us with their eyes, aren't they? They're going to read our words. But we're going to say it too. There's something so magical about that. And you are all right at the age where you need to know these things. So the letter A is ox. G is camel. N is fish. I don't think they would taste very good together. But it's good to know that they can live together in the alphabet. And that they have lived together for 4,000 years. Anybody want to know, by the way, we say alphabet. Alpha is A, but bet is the second letter of the alphabet. Anybody know what that is?
B.
B! And do you know what B means? When it was originally drawn, we have food and water. We already talked about that's M. Mm-hmm. It was originally drawn with the flat side on the bottom. Okay. And then the 2 things were 2 rooms. Oh. Bet in Hebrew. Anybody know what it means? Yes? Say it again. I can't hear you. Shelter.
Shelter. Yeah.
It means house.
Mm-hmm.
Food and shelter. Food and shelter. Alphabet. It's everything you need to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And to take care of those that you care about. So when you write, you aren't just writing stories. You're taking care of people and animals, everybody who matters to you. All right. So I'm going to close by saying one more time, what is every pencil filled with? Magic book. It's up to you to do something with it. And now I'm going to tell you that I was kind of exaggerating. It's not really true that there's a story in here, is it? I'm going to show you what a story looks like real fast. I brought this with me because I just found it. When I was a little kid, when I was about 10 years old, I was living in Nogales, and there was a great big fire, and a semi-truck exploded. And we all from the neighborhood went and watched it. And as we watched it, it started to melt. And it got so hot, it started to melt the metal into puddles. And I came back the next morning, and I picked one up. And I picked it up, and I took it home, and I didn't show it to my mother, because what do you think she would have said?
Throw it away.
Throw it away! I hid it. I hid it in a drawer, and about 2 years ago, I found it again. I found it. And you know what was so great about this for me? Is that this is what an idea looks like. This is what a story looks like before you write it. When only you know what this means. Only you know what's inside of it. It's like the pencil. It's just like the pencil. And you've got these things all around you. Your ideas. The things you know about. You know about. So really, more than a pencil and more than a puddle, what's really, really powerful is that place I keep my dog. Right? Your mind. So take care of it, enjoy it, and share it with everybody. Thank you.